Blog Talk Radio.
It's here.
Hello?
Have you checked the children?
They're all hot dolls. Whatever you do, don't fall asleep. I'm afraid!
Don't be afraid!
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Gingy.
Pain has a face. Allow me to show it to you. Gentlemen, I am pain.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face. The blackest eyes. The devil's eyes.
Have you checked the children?
Have you checked the children?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
I think he's in trouble.
Julie, this guy, if he can't take a joke, he stinks.
When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk here.
Just a flesh wound.
Good evening, Flesh Wound Radio freaks, and welcome to a brand new episode of Horror Society Presents Flesh Wound Radio. Thanks for joining us on another odd day this week, as we said, Tuesday. Hopefully you're not too thrown off, but you can still listen Thursdays, so no big deal. I am Daniel Shine, joined once again by Todd Loya. Todd, soon to be a dad, Loya. How's it going, Todd?
Good, busy, just getting in some early reviews this week, because come Thursday I'll probably be a father.
Yeah, there you go. That's dedication. That's, you're here. Hope you guys appreciate it. Have you been, torturing the wife, doing the Killer Baby marathon, a little Rosemary's Baby, a little feeding of the ghost?
No,
alive.
But coincidentally, I've been watching that John Benet Ramsey thing on CBS. I think I was like, maybe not the best timing. But
yeah, I was going to say, yep. Follow it up with Inside.
Right.
Get some, get ready for it. She probably wouldn't appreciate it, but, it would be amusing.
My cousin did find for me, she found me she hasn't got it yet, but it's a crocheted baby Leatherface mask.
Oh, sweet. You will have to make that like the big picture, the birth picture you put up on the wall. Maybe, little digital manipulation, make them like baby Pinhead. I'm a Hellraiser fan, so that's obviously my suggestion. Right. But, hey, well, you don't want to fuck them up too early. Wait till they're, 8, 9 for all that. But hopefully he's a horror fan. I don't have kids. I don't think I ever will. But if I do, I've told everybody they're going to have to get used to gratuitous violence pretty early. Because I don't think I can do the Sesame Street stuff. So I don't know. I'd probably sire the next Ted Bundy, unfortunately. So I'm keeping it wrapped.
I'm gonna kind of bend the lines. I'm gonna go with some Beetlejuice cartoons because I could tolerate that.
There you go. Oh, we actually have a movie tonight that's probably somewhat kid friendly. So actually a couple, I guess, if you count our non-horror movie. But yes.
House on the Edge of the Park, of course, the most family-friendly of all times.
Of course. What's a little forced lesbianism and, home invasion action? There's nothing wrong with that. But there you go. The whole David Hess filmography, that's good old-fashioned entertainment.
You saw what I put after, I can't remember what I commented on. Watching it again, I kind of was like, this kind of fucked up. I felt bad for poor David Hess. But we'll get to that when we get to that.
Well, yeah, yeah. Of course, we're both big marks for David Hess, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of reminiscing on that one. Yes, indeed. But, well, yeah, I'm going to start segueing into that. Well, news-wise, I realized that Scream Queens Season 2 debuts today. I still have the finale on my DVR. I haven't watched it for no particular reason.
Hilarious. That is hilarious.
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah, I don't know why. Sometimes I'll do that with it's like I don't want it to be over. Although, I mean, it's not my favorite show in the world, but I did start to get into it a little bit. So.
You know what it is? I think it is because it's both of us. Because we were talking about that show weekly. I think we were off for a couple weeks and we didn't. And then when we came back, it didn't make sense to review the finale so late.
Yeah, then what was weird about that, they had a pre-order, of course, fucking DVD only, and it has yet to come out. I don't know if it's canceled or what. I mean, it's very strange. But I think I was just like, fuck it. I mean, I think it's still on my DVR, but I'm like, I'll be getting the set probably, and no set. So, yeah, that is getting annoying. Especially one show, I don't know if it's good or not, haven't watched it, but Shannara Chronicles, that fantasy show that was on MTV, I believe it was. They put out the DVD, and of course it still pisses me off because it's hard when you know, everybody has satellite now. I mean, you know, on demand. It's hard to justify a full-price DVD set when you have a better version at your fingertips. So, of course, they just announced the Blu-ray on that a couple months after that came out, so I was glad I didn't take the bait. So maybe Scream Queens will still get a Blu-ray. I've always said that the one thing that show was missing was some gratuitous nudity because there were several moments that warranted it in that show. It just felt a little too safe, but you know, that's how it goes. Well, let's see. I am. Well, Jamie Lee Curtis, it's like she still owes us. So I'm just saying, season 2, you can show some side boob, some ass crack, something. I mean, something. American Horror Story's done it. I mean, hell, they've done full nudity. So, you know, I'm just saying, Jamie Lee Curtis still owes the horror fans. You know, no more. I only show my boobs in Dan Aykroyd movies. We want to see some horror boob from you. But we'll still see. I don't care how old she is. Everybody wants to see it. So anybody listening, fuck you. You know you want to see it. But
right.
Anyways, you want to see it, Todd. I mean, come on.
I'm not going to say no.
They may be a little more saggy, not in their prime, but Laurie Strode, we're all popping our bone for that. So, you know.
She may be rubbing Activia all over him or something.
There, yes. Come on. You pop wood for the Activia commercials.
I never popped harder watching the Oscars than the one year she came out and they played the Halloween theme. It's quite a few years back now.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that was... God, what year was that? I don't think it was... I think it's been more than a few years.
Yeah, I'm thinking close to 5.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. But yeah. She's always Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm a Brink Stevens guy. It doesn't matter how old she gets. I will always love Brink Stevens. But on that note, let's see, what do we have in the way of news? Well, Code Red. We always do Code Red news because it's like nobody really ever knows what's coming from them unless you're in a Facebook group. So one of the new announcements on Blu-ray coming from them, this is 2017, so at least you know a vague idea of when it's coming out. The Demon is Loose, which more people will know under its alternate and more common title, Murder Rock. Lucio Fulci, more Fulci on Blu-ray. I don't think anybody will say Murder Rock is Fulci's best film, but I've always liked it, and I know you're a fan of it as well.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a pretty damn good film. It's one of his better, trashier films, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, you can't compare it to House by the Cemetery or The Beyond. But yeah, it ranks up there. I mean, it's certainly not his worst film. I know some people aren't too thrilled about the cover, which is cool, but doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, I see. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I actually like the cover and like the artwork used, and I know it's the original U.S. poster, but it's so confusing because I don't even remember it under that title. It's always been Murder Rock to me.
Yeah, I think it's more clear. I mean, for me, Fulci, is essential. I'll get any Fulci movie they put out, especially on Blu-ray at this point. So, I'm getting it, but I know what you're saying. It's too bad they don't have, some alternate cover art on this one, because I can see a lot of friends coming over and going, wait, what the fuck is this? Is this some never-before-seen Fulci movie? Even I remember when I pulled it up, I guess a few days ago or whenever he announced it, and I'm like, even I for a second was like, well, wait a minute, which one is this? And then, of course it dawns on me, it's like, oh, it's Murder Rock. But
I had to Google because it was, I was like, I don't remember, which one's this? I knew it was a retitling, I just didn't know which. And that was the furthest one from my mind, because it's not Supernatural.
Yeah, that's he has another movie coming out. The title's escaping me at the moment, but it makes it look like a same thing. I think like a supernatural horror flick, and it's not. But God, is he announcing stuff like crazy?
Yeah, with this one, it's funny because I was like, well, if we want to keep it with Health Club horror, it would make sense for an alternate title for Death Spa.
Yes. but nothing else.
Yeah, not Murder Rock, because that's pretty much just a straight-up slasher.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. It is strange.
I'll say it like that. This. When that one goes up, it'll be like Mutant. I'm going to pull the trigger immediately, and also we will be playing music selections from that film the week we review it.
Absolutely, yes. We definitely on that one. Yeah, I did get Lord Shango the other day, so I'm almost all caught up on Code Red horror Blu-rays. I just need Weekend Murders, and I'm all caught up.
Have you got your most recent Code Red order yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. I received an email from them the other day, but it was just blank. So I'm like, does that mean it's shipped? I didn't want to reply back. Because I always know half Goop is Code Red.
Yeah. I assume it was a shipping notice. Yeah, I'm a little bit. I have to check my email too, because it's not. It hasn't been a ridiculous amount of time or anything.
No. I'm not saying that. I've got 2 packages on the way. That's why I'm like, is that the first or the second?
Yeah, I Lord Shango I got off eBay, but so that should probably be here soon too. But all I need is Weekend Murders.
I hate to even tell you this. I know you're probably hesitant to pull the trigger now. I saw a Cave Girl went for $22 on eBay.
Yeah, they posted that in the group. That was probably gone 30 seconds later.
Yeah. See, that was one I didn't even know why it got pulled. I mean, I pulled the trigger the moment of, but it was like...
All I recall was he had some issue with Daniel Roebuck.
Yes.
There was something... I don't know. Roebuck was doing some giveaway or something. I mean, my memory is kind of hazy on it, but
there was
one of those ones that just. Mm-hmm.
There was a golden ticket on it, and if you got the golden ticket, you won something.
Okay, and I take it nobody ever claimed the golden ticket.
Yeah, I think it was like lunch with Daniel Roebuck or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know specifically if there was any kind of legal issue or if that was just Bill pissed at him for some reason. But I don't know. Did Roebuck address it at some point?
No, I never heard him say anything. Shit. Maybe,
I'd like to see that on Blu-ray at some point, but I don't know.
I would. Well, with Crown International getting those, or Vinegar Syndrome getting the Crown International titles, which, you know, must be driving Bill insane, I wouldn't be shocked to see that one pop up.
Yeah, that would, I think, be, I don't want to say the very top of the list, but it's probably certainly in the discussion because so many people weren't able to get that DVD. So yeah, I'm sure Daniel Roebuck will be all over the release too. So I don't know. We'll see. Definitely want that. And like I said, it's so hard. There's so much I'm waiting for from Code Red that it makes you kind of question all your purchases. When's the next bundle going up? Hopefully we'll get one more bundle before Halloween. There's definitely a few things I would really like to have in time for Halloween.
I just like a 2-day notice. That's all. Just be like, okay, it's Wednesday. Okay, this Friday we're putting the bundle up at midnight. I don't give a shit, what time it is. That'd be so nice. It
would, because I know there's a lot of people who just, it's like, fuck, I was waiting for it. I was refreshing the page, but he just happened to get me when I was out at lunch or something.
Nice.
Yeah, that would be nice. It would be nice to have at least there's some vague stuff going up now, though. Like I said, early 2017 or, I would love just to have a rough date thing, like this is coming soon, this is probably going to be a while, so you can kind of at least have a vague idea, but, we'll see. Maybe he'll do that at some point. Probably not, but we'll see. All I know is there's a lot that I'm excited about, and for some reason, looking at the page right now, I'm watching somebody getting a pimple popped. For I don't know why. That's Bill. Anyway, well, we have a lot of reviews for you guys tonight. Don't think I missed any major news. I know The Exorcist TV show's debuting soon. I don't know how I feel about that one. I don't know. For some reason, I just have not that excited for it, but I am DVRing it, so maybe we'll talk about the premiere, see if that has any legs. I think it's on Fox, so it'll probably get canceled, but we'll see. So yeah, well, without further ado, we'll get into our films for this evening. Well, our first film, very excited to review this one. It's shot in Georgia, and I actually saw it about a year ago, maybe a little more, roughly, under its alternate title, Invasion of the Undead. And this is new from Wild Eye Releasing as Neon Dead from writer-director Toby Haas. And from the back cover, an unemployed recent college grad hires 2 freelance paranormal exterminators to combat a monster infestation in her new home. But their prodding into the new evil unleashes an ancient demon and his army of undead creatures intent to possess any human they make contact with. A nonstop, colorful explosion of horror and action reminiscent of monster-busting classics like Evil Dead, Ghostbusters, and The Monster Squad. This is one, shot here in Georgia. I think actually it's I want to say Monster Buster Films was the company, and I saw it a while back, and I was really impressed. The look of the zombies and various demons, creatures, ghouls, whatever you want to call some of them, was really, really distinct. And this film has an interesting combination of live action and stop motion effects, which was a breath of fresh air, because even a lot of these small films now, it's really bad CG. I loved the look. In fact, I knew immediately when I saw the cover that Wild Eye was putting this out. I'm like, oh, Invasion of the Undead got distribution, which I figured it would, because it's quite a unique film. And there were several things that I liked about this, which may sound odd coming from me. I love my sleaze in horror movies, but this one is I don't want to say family friendly, but borderline family friendly, like one you could sit down and watch with your 10-year-old budding horror son or daughter or what have you. It's nothing sexually explicit, no hardcore gore, although it's a little bit there, nothing too bad. It really has a feel of almost like some of the family movies that Full Moon, Charles Band distributed back in the day, and I mean that in a very nice way. I mean, it's got a broad appeal, which I thought was good, and it's really a good example of indie film done right. I mean, you can tell a lot was put into the story. I love the idea of Desmond and Jake, the paranormal exterminators. It seems like there's certainly, I hope to see more follow-ups to this movie. Like I said, it does pretty much everything right, and it's one of those rare, distinct micro-budget indie flicks. A lot of them in terms of the plot, the look, etc., kind of tends to bleed together, but this one, like I said, it is very unique, and it's clean. It's very rare that you get something that you can watch. Like, I can probably be comfortable watching this with my nephew, and I think it would hold his interest, particularly some of the, there's a lot of kind of homage to classic video games. It's a very lively film. It shows what you can do on a small budget with the right lighting and some, creative effects. I don't know what the budget was, but, I loved the, and I know I'll butcher the name of the demon, but I call it the glowing Joker demon. I thought that was just cool. I mean, I know they didn't have a lot of money, but I thought it was really cool. Todd, what did you think about this one? I know you liked it because of the fact that our heroes work in a grocery store / video store, which I need to figure out if that place actually exists.
Yeah, no, I agree. It definitely, and it had a very much an old school feel going on too. It didn't.
Yeah.
The films that it compares itself to, a lot of times you hear that and you're like, okay, sure it does. And I feel like it had the tone of those, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it definitely is. I mean, when I was going over, and it's very rare with a low budget, indie like this that there's not some complaints, but honestly, a couple questionable Southern accents. Other than that, I don't know, I didn't have any real complaints. I thought it was a really complex, fun plot. I kind of forgot that I was watching an indie film. It wasn't something where, you have maybe half the cast can act and the other half are obviously made up of friends of the production. I like this. I mean, it really felt at times very epic. I mean, you have a fight in an alternate dimension between the hero and the Zatax demon at the end. I always love to see stop motion, and that is something that, I mean, it's very rare nowadays, but there have been a few other times I've seen it in recent films, particularly from the Polonia brothers, where it's just not, or the surviving Polonia brother, where it's not, it hasn't
good.
Come off all that great.
Yeah.
Huh?
I said where it's just not good. And this definitely
Dark
isn't.
Sleep was one.
And I think it's, I don't know, I always go with, there's that human touch and practical stuff, and I'd much rather, see it go this way than soulless CGI, especially on a budget like this. I think it was the right call, it worked, and it really adds to the film.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think it really does. And, this is now one that you can all buy. I mean, it was quite a while ago, but I did review Invasion of the Undead, but at that point I think you could only get it from the filmmakers, so I figured, oh, wow, we got to do this one again, because I remember liking it quite a bit, and now it's out. It's actually, I mean, I would go as far to say it's probably one of the best, if not, at least in consideration for being the best on the Wild Eye releasing label. I think it's something that's, if you like indie horror, I think it's well worth going out of your way to see. They don't make a lot of mistakes that I tend to see. I'm almost borderline jealous because, being a part of 3 shit pickles, I kind of wish that I had done something like this, more ambitious. And I dug it. I don't want to give too much away for the story, but it's just a testament to creativity and making the best of what you got. And, again, comparing this to other indie films, very little I can complain about. I mean, this one's a very more than solid 4.5 out of 5. I highly recommend it. Todd, what say you?
I'm with you. I'm a little lower. I'm at a 4, which still is a solid rating. I definitely would recommend it, and there are some cool little extras that kind of you get a couple short films and some of the stuff when they were doing the crowdfunding, little pieces to introduce you to the characters, which I thought was a cool little thing, because I mean they're not actually from the film, but they're kind of like setting up the characters. And I didn't follow the Kickstarter. I don't know if it was a Kickstarter. I didn't follow the crowdfunding, so all that little stuff was cool to see for me. And then the 2 short films are pretty entertaining too.
Yeah, I like I said, I hope to see a lot more in this universe. I don't know if they're planning follow-ups or not, but I think there's a lot here. And the lead, Desmond, really kind of also being a clerk at a sort of combo video store, really reminded me of Jason Mewes, a less foul-mouthed Jason Mewes, but great cast. Everything really came off really well with this one. It's like I said, it's a good example of indie done right. I mean, we've had more than a few recent ones that it's been hard to praise, but there is still creativity out there in the micro budget realm. So Neon Dead, check it out. You can get it off Amazon now. And I don't think I noticed anything different that I could remember between the Neon Dead and Invasion of the Undead. I think it was pretty much the same film I remember. So definitely check it out. On to our next review. Like I said, it's nice you get something you can actually sit down and probably watch with your not too young children. I know. I mean, there is a severed head at one point, but it's pretty. It's like you said, the Ghostbusters comparison's pretty good. I mean, it's on a smaller budget, but it's definitely warrants comparison. So moving on to our next film, let's do our sci-fi film for the evening, which is Metal Storm: The Destruction of Jared Sin from 1983, directed by Charles Band. Of course, the epic Empire Pictures days, which I know Todd and I are very, very fond of. A lot of people don't recall Empire. I mean, it's like Full Moon didn't come into being till the late 80s. So
89. Was it 89
Yeah.
or 90? Because Puppet Master, I'm thinking of the year. Was
89.
it 90 or 89? Okay.
89.
And although
I mean, I don't know. Maybe the name was created before. I don't know. But 89 was Puppet Master.
And I want to say this technically isn't an Empire picture.
I don't know. Is it or isn't it?
Well,
of course, it's directed by
Universal.
Charles Band, so
Produced by
true.
Albert Band. Produced by Albert Band with music by Richard Band. So, for all intents and purposes,
It's an honorary.
And it's funny because, well, we'll get to the documentary, but I mean, I think this is what ended up bankrolling their studio. Basically, what Charles alludes
absolutely.
to. Because,
absolutely.
Well, let's get into the film first.
Well, for the uninitiated who don't know what this is about, Metal Storm is the science fiction battle of the ages with giant cyclopeans and an intergalactic magician in this futuristic adventure set on the desert planet of Lemuria. A miner and his daughter, Diana, played by Kelly Preston, fall prey to the evil dictator Jared Sin's reign of terror. Dojin, the brave peacekeeping ranger, must save Diana from the rest of the planet from the brutality of Jared Sin and the hideous cyclopean warlord Hurok. I'm skipping over some shit here. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm stumbling on my words. His son Baal and the hideous cyclopean warlord Hurok. If Dojin doesn't find Diana in time, she will be sacrificed to Jared Sin's strange, life-giving crystal. Take a space-age journey into the farthest reaches of the imagination with dazzling special effects and a story that will excite fantasy fans of all ages. It's not Empire Pictures really, Ted, because, sci-fi action film was directed by Empire Pictures founder Charles Band and features his Trancer star Tim Thomerson. So, essentially, this one's an Empire Pictures film. I'm going to call it that.
It's what kickstarted it. And it's essentially Tim Thomerson playing his Han Solo character.
Yes. He would have been better. I'm sorry. Tim Thomerson is better than Harrison Ford. We should have had Tim Thomerson in Witness. We should have had Tim Thomerson as Indiana Jones. I'm going to stick by that. I think he would have done even better.
As long as he can bust out the unguard motherfucker, I'm good.
Yes.
I think the biggest crimes of the late 90s, early 2000s is no producer or director ever did this. We did not get a Tim Thomerson, Bruce Campbell buddy film.
Oh, shit. Well, it's not too late.
This is true. Oh, if we get a Tim Thomerson cameo come on, he needs to get cast on Ash vs. Evil Dead. That would be some awesomeness.
He does, like some grumpy old man that somehow finds himself fighting with the with the Jedites. I'm trying to think different hooks. I don't know. There's a lot of things they can do there. Maybe long lost brother.
Hey, all they got to do is give fucking Charlie Band $40. He could be fucking Jack Death, and he fights some other shit too, because they got more than just Jedites now.
Yes. Yeah, we need Jack Death versus the Evil Bong, or Jack Death versus the Ginger Dead Man. It could work. It could work.
Technically we have. If you remember Evil Bong 1, Jack Deth shows up.
That is true. But in a feature role. I'm not going to count that one.
I'll tell you.
Jack Deth versus the Virgin Hunters.
He basically said he they ain't got the money anymore to pay him. That's why there's no more transfers. That's disappointing.
I see them rebooting it at some point. I don't know, maybe. We're supposedly getting Toxic Avenger, so guess you can never say never.
Still one of my favorite celebrities to meet ever is Tim Thomerson. He's a cool guy.
He's really nice. Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's one that doesn't disappoint. I don't see him as much lately. I don't know if he sticks more to California.
And honestly, I haven't seen him pop up in years because there was a couple conventions in a row he was at, and I haven't seen him. And that was shit. I want to say that was around the time of Devil's Rejects, and that would have been about a decade ago.
Yeah, I know he's done stuff since then. I want to say he did one when he was promoting that vampire flick, Live Evil, I think, with Tiffany Shepis, or something at least around the time that was out. But actually, I'm friends on Facebook. I don't know if he actually represents Thomerson, but Dominic Mancini, who I know represents a lot of Full Moon and Empire people for conventions. I don't know if he's one of his clients. I'll have to check with him, though. He might know. But anyways, back to Metal Storm. There's all sorts of things that we can go off that are kind of sort of connected to Metal Storm. But this was a great era for these films. I mean, I had a Metal Storm poster back in the day. It was in my room somewhere near my Space Hunter poster. Ice Pirates. I mean, not even just the 3D stuff. I mean, there were just a lot of really fun movies. I mean, how many times I watched Metal Storm, Space Hunter, Ice Pirates, all back to back to back. I don't even want to say. I mean, my childhood was filled with those movies. And honestly, watching Metal Storm again, I mean, I like Space Hunter better, but this one I still think is actually a really good movie. It's one of those ones that I think stands up, even being a mishmash of, Road Warrior and, a lot of different things. It's a fairly more complex a storyline than you usually got out of these films, from the, crystals to the, just Road Warrior style chase scenes and everything. I like it. I mean, it's one of those ones that I still think hasn't lost anything. But where does it rank for you, Todd?
I'm the same. I've always enjoyed this one. And it's funny. You mentioned the Road Warrior style chase scenes and stuff. I never noticed it till I was watching the documentary how slow they were. It didn't really click. And they even mention in the documentary that they were probably meant to be sped up, but then the movie would run like 55 minutes.
Yes, that is true. And I have to ask you, because I'm not a 3D guy. I assume you watched it in 3D. How did that look?
Awesome. And I'm going to tell you like this. The 3D in the 80s is so much better than the 3D now in general. Stuff like this, Jaws 3D, which isn't a particularly great film. I've always had a soft spot for it, probably because I believe that is the first 3D film I ever saw. It's either that or Creature from the Black Lagoon, but I'm pretty sure Jaws 3D was the first. And I probably saw this trailer, and I don't even remember. But no, they do the depth and the pop-out's so much better. And I know people today, you know, they don't want to do the 3D gags, but the 3D gags are what makes 3D work. Point shit at the camera. Get that depth going.
Yeah. I want to see that tree branch in my face.
Yeah, exactly. And even just like there was a little subtle thing, and I can't think of the character's name they're talking to, but they're showing him the crystal, and there's like just like almost like a jungle gym type thing. It's like just a metal like cage thing kind of just set up in the foreground. And it just like pops out so much. It's good depth, it's good pop out. It's like they don't want to chance it like now, where then they were like, this is a fucking 3D movie. We're making sure you know it's a 3D movie.
Yeah, no, it nowadays, I mean, again, I'm not a big fan in general. I just kind of feel when I go and see something in 3D, I'm pretty much just, you know, bending over for the studio just to give them a few extra bucks. And with Green Hornet, not only are you bending over, they're kind of like wiping the load on your face at the end. Shitty 3D, shitty. Yeah, they're pulling a Screeched on you there. Todd will get that reference. I know he has the Saved by the Smell disc, but yeah, this is when. And again, I didn't get to watch the Blu-ray in 3D, so this is just, I'm doing the 2D review, but Todd will have you 3D aficionados covered. But this is one I'd like to watch in 3D. If they made more like this, I would probably cave and buy a 3D TV because, you know, this was where it was at back in the day. So
you got some quality ones. The Jaws 3D, though, we never officially reviewed it, is another outstanding 3D disc. Like, really, really good.
Yes. Yeah, I've heard that.
Universal knows what they're doing with their 3D stuff. I wish Paramount did, but that's another story.
Yes. I mean, but again, just getting back to the movie, which it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's one that, I mean, again, it's one I think. I just wish we had more films like this that can just capture that adventurous feel that they had in these types of movies back then. When I watch similar movies today, this is one case. I'm not, like, with horror movies, I'm not the, you know, it was so much better back in the day kind of guys. I'm like, we get a lot of great horror movies nowadays. It's just, you know, people are just so negative about everything, and you know, just don't really highlight some of the really good movies that we get. But with sci-fi and these types of films, it was definitely better back in the day.
I agree. I see the same for action for me, though, too, but I like those based in reality. Yes, as reality-based as Commando can be, but whatever. I don't see cars flying and shit and guys jumping off wings. Just shitty one-liners and cars.
Soldiers are cracking one-liners. Chill out, Bennett. Somewhere somebody's killing somebody and doing the Commando line. There's an assassin. That's a movie, an assassin that just always breaks out one-liners from Commando. I want to believe that guy's out there somewhere.
I can almost guarantee you he is. I think pretty much. I wonder what came first: the soldiers doing it or Commando doing it. I think they kind of influenced the other.
Only bodies. Yes, I'm a bad Schwarzenegger, but if I ever go on a murderous rampage, I'm quoting the shit out of Commando. So, you know, hey, just throwing it out there. Anybody wants to get killed, there's probably about, I don't know, 50 one-liners in that thing. You can pick which one you want. But again, back to Metal Storm because we're on Commando now. I was
going to say, I wish there was a way to Richard Mole get it back all wrapped up, but I don't have a way to connect Commando to Richard Mole.
Oh, well, anything with Richard Mole is awesome. I'm sorry, that guy, I mean, and it's pretty funny in the extra features he talks about them wanting to shave his head for this, but he didn't want to because it was pilot season, and that ended up working out because he got Night Court, I guess, right after he shot this. So that was a very amusing story in the extra features. This film has everything you could want. Go ahead, Todd.
I say if they ever reboot Night Court, they just got to get Kane to play Bull's part.
Yeah. I mean, holy shit, is Kane looking more and more like nowadays? WWE Studios needs to get the rights for a Metal Storm remake. Daniel Bryan can play Dojin. Kane can be Richard Moll's role. I see money in that.
I tell you.
We're going to kill Jared Sin. Yes. See, they need to hire us to do these, Todd. They can even bring in the therapist. What was it? Dr. Shit, I forgot the doctor's name. But they can hire him to play maybe he could do Thomas's role. Although I'd say bring Thomas back. But
of course.
No.
You have to. I just got to do it. You have to have Triple H as Jared Sin.
There you go. Well, he can never top his awesome performance in The Chaperone. The immortal, let's do some field tripping. Can't beat that one. It's pretty much impossible. Triple H, I think, pretty much pissed away any acting career he had after that, but that's another story. But yeah, no, I mean, you have everything from the pit fight to the cheap, but I don't care, very effective tremor worms. These movies are just a lot of fun, and a lot of people, quite frankly, nowadays, I don't even think realize just how great they were back in this day. And I like Tom Byron, of course, who played the hero in this, went on 1 year later to play the hero in Dungeon Master, with Richard Moll playing the villain in Dungeon Master. So Dungeon Master is very underrated. So it's another one. Makes a good double feature with this. A lot of the same cast. And
Empire Picture.
Yes. Yeah, that one.
No arguing on that one.
Empire Pictures.
I was going to say there's no arguing on that one.
Did you get, because they even reference it, Michael Gingold references it in the make. Did you get Coming At Ya? I think what's credited as the original, not the original, but of that era 3D flick.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I have that too. I haven't popped that in yet, but
excellent. That's another excellent 3D Blu-ray. Again, they knew how to use it. That's actually one of my top Blu-rays too for 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Great display.
Yeah, I've heard that because, I mean, that one, of course, I mean, I think when you really, if you're going to do it, really have the 3D in mind, because, I mean, a lot of the ones I've watched, I'm thinking, I'm not getting anything extra from this than I would if I were watching it in 2D. And, I mean, I referenced Green Hornet just being a horrible movie in general, but you look at the 3D, at least what I saw in theaters, I mean, I'm like, this is pointless. I mean, I literally just handed them a few extra bucks to see this piece of shit in 3D. There was nothing in that warranted being a 3D movie. So, yeah, no, they did it right back then. I mean, 3D's never been a great home format. I'm sure you might argue that one with me, but back then, I mean, this was how it was. Like I said, I had the poster for this and everything. I was a huge fan. Well, we're going to love fest the shit out of this one, obviously, and reminisce about our childhood. But what did you think of the extra features, which, I mean, it's basically just the making of, but it's a pretty extensive and fun making of with pretty much everybody. They didn't get Kelly Preston, but she's busy probably covering up John Travolta's massage visits.
Well, maybe they'll get her for Mischief. Maybe that one's coming up next.
Well, there might. This is this is a total side thing, so we won't go on for it long. But you did hear that Travolta could be in some very big trouble, didn't you?
I did not.
Corey Haim, supposedly, like all this stuff Feldman's been talking about, it's rumored either Travolta or Sheen, did the deed back in the day with a young Corey Haim, and supposedly somebody's about to leak that. Those are the two that are rumored. I don't know. Maybe it's neither one, but that could be interesting. Let's just say there's a chance we may never see Face Off 2. So I'm just saying. But
there was one bit of news I forgot at the top of the hour, but you mentioned the Tremors thing. Tremors 6 got greenlit today.
Oh, sweet.
With
Michael Gross again, I assume.
And Jamie Kennedy.
Sweet. I don't mind seeing that. I thought the last one was really good. We'll talk about that. I mean, I know we're going. We've hit everything from Commando to Tremors, but we're on the extra features now. I thought it was interesting the controversy they talk about with Overdog and Space Hunter. I'm thinking that might be a problem.
Meaning?
That.
No, what do you mean by that might be a problem?
Legal problem. They kind of talked about the strong similarities with the Overdog character in Space Hunter, which is still, again, Space Hunter really is probably my favorite, but I still think this holds up pretty well. And the story with Richard Mall being bribed with $500 to shave his head, the Mattel connection for building the vehicle Dogen drives in this, and the very, very famous Vasquez Rocks location, which has been the home for very many movies. There are a lot of great stories. I mean, this is one of those ones where I get a making of where I feel I've got a real sense of everything that went on in the making of this movie.
And it was funny because at first I was a bit disappointed we didn't get a Charles. Disappointed and surprised we did not get a Charles Band commentary. But with that documentary, I was like, I didn't need it. I still would have liked it and listened to it, but it's definitely not needed after that. 45. Again, we get collector's editions that don't have on this in depth from.
Yeah, I've always said if you have a really good making of that really goes in depth, I'm okay not having the commentary because there have been several discs where it kind of feels like it kind of repeats anyways. So, I was pretty cool with it. I mean, like I said, that's a long one. You hear from just about everybody. Of course, Preston, I guess, being an exception, but overall, I mean, you hear from everybody, and I think, like I said, if you haven't seen it, give it a shot. I mean, it's not, a sci-fi classic. I mean, this isn't Quiet Earth or Blade Runner, but it is a great film that was fun, and a lot of movies like this are just missing the fun nowadays. It's not just the budgets going down either. I mean, there's just a lot of movies that just don't capture that adventurous spirit that this one does. So, I mean, the movie...
It's funny you mention that because just recently on his press junket, Paul Verhoeven was mentioning, the reason he thinks RoboCop and Total Recall reboots failed is they took them too serious and didn't have the fun.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. I didn't hate the Total Recall reboot as much as I hated the RoboCop one, though.
Yeah, I'm with you. But that's because you got triple tits.
That is true, yes. Yeah, RoboCop, I don't know, that cast, too, I was like, God, this really should have been a lot better than it was. But, both casts, I mean, shit, Bryan Cranston was in the Total Recall reboot. But, that one was a little more true to the original story, so you can kind of, I don't know, give it a little bit of a pass. But
it didn't have Martin Cove, though. Not Martin Kove.
Yes.
Wrong guy. I can't think.
Yeah.
I can't think.
Michael Ironside.
No, not Mike. Oh shit. The one who was the coach in Nightmare on Elm Street too.
Oh shit! I met him.
I know his name
escaping me at the moment.
Okay.
Well, he's in my favorite comedy, Hamlet 2. But I can't think of his name.
That was fun.
But yes, Hamlet 2 is like literally my favorite comedy. I don't know why. I just fucking love that movie. But yeah. I think that adds like about 20 things that have nothing to do with Metal Storm. So back to Metal Storm. Movie, I mean, like I said, it's not the best of its era, but it's a damn good movie. It's a lot of fun. It has everything you could want. And I give it 4 out of 5 for the movie. And, yeah, I would say, again, a 4 out of 5 for the extras as well. I mean, you know, there's a couple things they could have had, but it's a very in-depth making of. And sometimes that's all you need. So I'm very happy with this purchase. And, of course, you got the 3D on Todd's end, so I guess you can rate the 3D as well.
Yeah. I'm with you on everything up till now. 4 and 4, 4 for film, 4 for extras. And I give it for the 3D, I give it a 5.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, and again, I should point out this is the Blu-ray 2D and 3D version, so, you know, if you're out there,
and honestly,
it doesn't matter. You'll have both.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. You could look at this and be like, well, this kind of makes this a 5 for extras because, I mean, the 3D version is almost like a bonus, you know? So it kind of goes either way. You know, you get both versions.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's not expensive either. I mean, considering, you know, I think when the pre-order price first popped up on this, it was rather pricey. But I want to say I ended up getting it for, what was it, like $22? 23. I mean, it wasn't horrible considering, you know, 3D. So, yes, definitely check that one out. And, well, I guess we're just about at the halfway point. So I guess we can take our musical break for the evening. Todd, what do you have for us?
We are going with something from Psycho 2 tonight. I thought, why not?
Why the fuck not?
You know, it's universal. It makes sense. Come on, go with that.
It does. There's a theme. There's a theme. We've already played a lot of the Hess stuff, so.
I know. I thought about that. I was like, and then if not, I play one of the other ones. We're gonna get like about a minute break. So I went with nice and long, so you can go make your hot pockets.
I can piss and eat a hot pocket. Sweet.
All right. We'll be back in 4 minutes-ish. All right.
And we are back, correct, Todd?
We are back.
Sweet, sweet. Yeah, that good hearing that one again. Yeah, like I said, we were very Hessed out. I know we've done a lot of David Hess themed ones, so there you go. A lot of the movies didn't have a particular song for us to do tonight, so there you go. Psycho 2 still works, so let's see. I'm stalling for time because I was taking a bite of food. I don't really know what to say, but that was good timing, Todd. I was like just down to the last bite. So it's all good. Well, I do have a solo for this evening, so I'll bust that one out here. And one that I'm very excited to tell you guys about, because speaking of, not to spoil the review, but speaking of quality films that are getting made and not getting a ton of attention, this one's getting some decent attention. I mean, there's definitely some people out there talking about it, and that is The Invitation from director Karyn Kusama. And from the back cover, in this taut psychological thriller by Karyn Kusama, the tension is palpable when Will shows up to a dinner party hosted by his ex-wife Eden and the new husband David. The estranged divorcee's tragic past haunts an equally eerie present. Amid Eden's suspicious behavior and her mysterious house guests, Will becomes convinced that his invitation was extended with a hidden agenda. Unfolding over one dark evening in the Hollywood Hills, The Invitation blurs layers of mounting paranoia, mystery, and horror until both Will and the audience are unsure what threats are real or imagined. So this one, I really want to... Everybody in this is stellar in terms of acting. I really wanted to throw out Logan Marshall Green, who played Will, really fantastic in this film. John Carroll Lynch, who's been, making a lot of good impressions lately on American Horror Story, has a small role here. He was also good. I could name every cast member. Everybody was stellar in this. And it's definitely... It's one of those ones you argue horror versus thriller territory. I don't care. All I'll say about it is it's a fucking fantastic movie. You kind of, as the movie goes on, you kind of have an idea sort of where it's going, but at the same time, the way it unfolds is very original. And I'm not going to spoil anything about this one because you just really have to experience it. It's obviously dealing a lot with grief, and as this party goes on, I mean, you can obviously tell that some of these people have some very unhealthy coping mechanisms for dealing with their grief. And yeah, you're not quite sure. You're not quite sure if these people are just quirky and Will's maybe starting to go postal, or that there's something sinister going on, if at all. It's one of those ones that you don't want to multitask while you're watching it. This is one of those ones you really want to just sit down, give it your full attention. There's some very subtle stuff, even the ending for that matter. I know somebody else who didn't understand it, and I'm like, pay attention. It makes sense what happens. This isn't an open ending by any means. And yeah, I mean, this is just a master class for acting. I thought everybody really balanced at times being sympathetic with being creepy, and parts of it are, like I said, parts of it are somewhat familiar. I mean, again, this is one of those cryptic reviews, but I mean, parts of it you will consider, okay, I've kind of seen this before, but I've never seen it quite told this way. And this is one of the best films of the year. I mean, this is one that I think will be in that conversation at the end of the year of the best of 2016. Draft House Films put it out on Blu-ray. I think, sadly, this is one of those ones where the DVD's everywhere, and you kind of got to get the Blu-ray online. But it is very well worth it, and I was so engrossed in this. Like I said, it's very rare to find a movie that I didn't check my watch, I didn't look at Facebook, I didn't, it's one of those ones that's really just that good and holds your attention straight through. Like I said, this isn't about gore or certain people kind of, it seems like, almost have to have that to kind of consider it a horror movie. But like I said, whether you want to call it a horror movie, a thriller, whatever, I mean, this is just a fantastic film that's somewhat based in reality. Some similar cases out there and themes that people have dealt with, and I loved it. Draft House Films, much like Artsploitation, neither one are specifically releasing just horror films by any means, but when they put something out in the genre, it tends to be a quality film. Whether you love everything they put out, it's quality, and that's why I always highlight those two companies, because there's a lot of really good foreign horror from Artsploitation and Draft House Films as well. So do yourself a favor, see this one. Don't talk through the whole thing, or just have a nice glass of wine, sit down and just experience this movie. It's really, really good. So no surprise, I'm giving it a 5. I think it's a fantastic movie, however you want to define it. So, The Invitation, lots of movies under that name, but this is from, including horror movies, so look for the one from director Karen Kusama and Draft House Films. I highly recommend it. So, that is The Invitation. And now, Todd, I apologize. We have 2 films to go, but what do you say, Todd? House on the Edge of the Park is the main event, or Night of the Living Dead?
Yeah, because I have a bad feeling we're going to go off topic on that one, too.
That's cool. David Hess is always the main event in life and in death, so we'll do that one last. So, Night of the Living Dead, new zombie comedy out on DVD and Blu-ray, and from director Kyle Rankin. From the back cover, after a girls' night out, endearingly awkward Deb wakes up in the apartment of the most attractive guy in Portland, Maine. She's thrilled but can't remember much of what got her there. Pretty boy Ryan only knows it was a mistake and ushers her out the door into a full-scale zombie apocalypse. Now, a walk of shame becomes a fight for survival as the mismatched pair discover the only thing scarier than trusting someone with your life is trusting them with your heart. So yeah, I mean, obviously I'm a sucker for zombie movies in general. There's a lot, I mean, this is kind of in the romantic zom-com subgenre, a lot of different films, not all comedies that we can throw in there. I mean, Return of the Living Dead 3, one of my all-time favorites, great love story. Yeah. Deadheads, Warm Bodies for a more bigger, recent theatrical one. A lot of films out there fall under that subgenre. This one, it's interesting. I really liked the cast. I thought Maria Thayer as Deb was a very quirky, likable character. Some of you might remember her from an old school Comedy Central show, Strangers with Candy. I don't know if anybody out there was a fan of that one back in the day.
I know she. Mm-hmm. She's I know she was in that movie Accepted, and she's currently on a True TV show. It's actually pretty funny. The one with her teachers, and I forget the name.
True TV, not Vice. Well, no, it's not Vice Principals. I'm trying to think of other teacher shows.
No. Those Who Can't.
Oh, okay. I don't think I watched that, but yeah, I mean, she was really good. I liked her character. This is very. This isn't necessarily a criticism per se. Humor is very subjective, but I kind of found this one sitcom funny. I don't know if that makes sense to you, Todd. You know what I mean? It's not bust a gut laughing,
right.
but it's sitcom funny.
And you had two sitcom stars as basically your lead, so that actually makes sense. Because the other, the other guy's been in quite a few different sitcoms.
Yeah, and I really thought. Again, I like this movie. I thought, like, at the beginning were some of the best laughs when they're just discovering that they're in the middle of a zombie apocalypse with, casually walking by the kids eating guts and, the Ryan character asking, why are you eating a foot? And I thought probably the one that really made me laugh was at least they aren't the sprinter type zombies. They're more of the cerebral palsy variety. And then he's like, he has cerebral palsy. That was probably one of the funnier bits.
I was on it, and then they start running.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's all I'll say about it. I mean, it's not... Of course, everybody always throws out Shaun of the Dead to compare a lot of these movies, and I think if you like that, you will like this. It's obviously not in that league, but I really enjoyed it. That's all I can say. There were a few moments where I felt, the gags could have worked a little better, but it's very clever. Like I said, I keep coming back to that. That's the best way I can describe this. You're not going to bust a gut laughing. It's like maybe watching The Big Bang Theory. It's funny, but it's not making you roll over and grab your gut in pain because you can't stop laughing. I thought the characters had a lot of chemistry. There was a lot of funny bits. I thought the Christmas shop scene and what I'll call the ugly Christmas sweater zombie, I thought that was all cool. I could I did. I almost felt like I was watching a mainstream romantic comedy, like with Paul Rudd and Amy Schumer or something. Maybe they'll star in the big budget remake. But I do want to throw out Ray Weiss, huge fan of his. He's great in this. The actor's name is escaping me at the moment, but who plays Chaz. A lot of people recognize him from Fanboy.
Oh, yeah.
A bunch of different movies. Chris Marquette. There you go.
Okay.
I thought he was really good, and you get a random Sean C. Phillips cameo. It's definitely a quality indie. There was some money behind this one. I think this is another, actually, a Kickstarter one. Really, good production values. It's just one of those ones. It's good. It just never rises to greatness, which it could have. That's all I can say about it. It's a good watch if you're a fan of, Zomcoms. I think you should definitely rent this one. I don't know if I would go out and buy it right away unless you're like me and have to have everything. But Todd, I mean, what did you think about this? I mean, how did it stack up for you?
I agree with the sitcom thing, but I did have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
I was entertained. It was. I agree. It wasn't a belly laugh one. It was like watching a sitcom, but. I've wasted 90 minutes on a lot worse. A lot worse. But no, I thought this was funny. I mean, it's not too serious. It doesn't try to be too serious. It's just a fun little film.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I'd recommend. I mean, again, this is like you mentioned earlier with the whole family-friendly thing. This is definitely more along those lines.
Yeah, this one, I mean, there were a few references to stuff. I wouldn't necessarily throw this out there as something maybe a kid would like, but
right.
Yeah, and I know some people have been saying there's not a lot of zombie action. I didn't think that was necessarily true. You get a decent bit of zombie action. I mean, there's no extreme gore per se, but you get some old-fashioned gut munchage, and that'll be the word for the day, gut munchage. I just made it up. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, it's just one of those ones. Just don't have super high expectations. I think I love zombie films and zom-coms so much that I'm always hoping for the next Shaun of the Dead or what have you. It's not that, but not everything can be, and this is at least a quality one. I felt like I was getting something of a quality that I certainly don't get to review every week. So this one, I'm going to be generous and give this one a 3.5. I think that it's definitely a must rent if you're a fan of this. Just don't necessarily buy it right away. Todd, what say you?
Yeah, I mean, I was going back and forth on the rating. Between a 3 and a 4. I'm going to play it safe and go with 3.5 also. Because I did have fun with it, but I get the complaints. I definitely say check it out. Try before you buy. Let's just go with that.
Absolutely, yeah. It's one of those ones I don't really have any specific complaints. It's just that's the best way I can sum it up for people. It's sitcom funny, So there you go. That's Night of the Living Dead. I thought there were some pretty clever bits in it, though, too. So it's definitely, it might be one that you consider better than maybe we're highlighting in our reviews. So check that one out. Our final review of the evening, because David Hess is and forever will be the main event for us, is Code Red's new Blu-ray for the 1980 classic from Rogério Deodato, House on the Edge of the Park. For those of you not familiar with it, and if you're not, shame on you, House on the Edge of the Park has no mercy. Right from the start, the evil and violence of Alex dominates the story as he strangles an innocent young girl. After helping a rich couple with their car, Alex and his simple-minded sidekick, Ricky, invite themselves to an upscale dinner party. The attendees seem jaded and looking for wild disco kicks, unaware of the two dangerous criminals in their midst. When tension explodes, this friendly evening gathering descends into an unrelenting orgy of humiliation, mutilation, and murder. As with his taboo-breaking classic, Cannibal Holocaust, Deodato pushes the limits of acceptable content in a movie further than ever. Now watch this savage classic of Italian cinema in startling high definition. So, Todd, I'll give you the honors of going first. You're the rape guy, and so you got to go first on this one.
I
That's
gotta
a
be the
T-shirt.
rape guy.
We need to open up a store. Todd, the rape guy.
Yeah, instead of I'm a Paul Heyman guy, I'm a rape guy. I'm a David Hess
there
guy.
You go.
Done.
There you go. I would buy that shirt.
And they'd only sell them few will get it. All right. Where to begin on this one? Obviously, the Italian take on Last House on the Left.
Mm-hmm.
Though it's also obviously a different story, which is good. And I know Hess has always stated he'd only do it again if it was a progression of the character, even though it's not the same character. We all kind of know it is. It's weird. Shit. See, I think this is the one you should have took first. Because my opinion changed on this one. I was like, it's kind of fucked up. Because, I mean, the poor blue-collar guy gets tricked into going over this house so he can get murdered. How fucked up is that?
Spoiler alert, but this movie's almost 40 years old, so there might be a few.
Yeah, well, I didn't say he got murdered. I said that was their idea. Well,
that is true.
Spoiler, you know.
They
but, I mean, am I wrong?
House on the Dead. Todd's gonna have to edit this. But you know, it's funny watching this one again. I mean, of course, Hess considers, I think, Hitchhike his favorite of his trilogy of his better-known films. I really think, though, that House on the Edge of the Park is a really great showcase of his diversity, because he does have some emotional moments in this one too. I mean, he's obviously an evil bastard, but at the same time he really loves his friend Ricky, and he's very even with his savagery, you do get those moments where he's almost kind of looking out for him. It's almost a little brother type scenario. And it's interesting, this one. I mean, this is actually a very almost, I don't want to say beautiful film considering the shit that goes on in it, but I mean, the way they kick it off with that Sweetly song sung by Tina Corsini, it really sets the mood. I've always thought this is one that is, obviously a lot of people like it, including us, but I think it's a much better film than maybe people have given it credit for. And obviously you get all the exploitation elements here. I think it's pretty messed up that Hess's first victim, who he rapes and murders in the car, is his real life wife. Till his death, actually. I thought that was interesting. Certainly didn't know that back in the day.
No.
And Giovanni Radice, of course, credited here as John Morgan, I believe. Another fantastic actor. I've had the pleasure of meeting both. Hess, I don't know, 3-4 times, something like that. At Chiller back in the day. Really nice guy. And I've always said it, and I know I've always kind of likened him to Joe Spinell in the sense that he's a fantastic actor. I mean, Hess could have been a De Niro or Pacino. I think the guy could have done anything. You can just sense it, just a lot of range and a lot of talent that, you probably only got to see a very small portion of what the guy can do in his career. And he's very funny, too. I mean, you look at, like, Smash Cut, one of his last films, or I think it might have been his last film. He's a really diverse guy. I think this is a really good showcase of David Hess. I wouldn't say it's my favorite Hess movie. It's just, I don't know. I think he got to do a little bit more here. I think the character was really complex. I really enjoyed it, and it delivers the goods with the nastiness.
Yeah,
and,
I agree. I always have to. Last House is always my favorite from him. I like all of his stuff, but it's all. He got to feature his music in it too. It's hard for me to not put that in my top for him. But this one, I think, is a bit more. It's the Italian version. I mean, it is amped up. It's a lot more nasty. I mean, but yet it has like you said.
But it didn't make anybody piss themselves. He pisses on them in this one.
Yeah, well, he got tired of waiting for them to do it. It's easier for him to just piss on them. I know. I felt like in Hitchhike, you should have shit on someone.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe we get. Well, I was going to say we've got the Last House on the Left remake, but maybe in a House on the Edge of the Park remake, there'll be that. But yeah, no, I mean, and you say Last House on the Left, and obviously I think that's a favorite for a lot of people because, I mean, quite frankly, more people have seen it. But, that does have the police subplot. You know what I mean? That's not, as much as I love it, that's not a perfect film.
It's not. I think for me it has a lot to do with the fact that you get him, you get his music, and I always kind of wish they would have somehow got it into the next two. Because honestly, if I'm talking about the trilogy, and, there's only one rape trilogy. Come on, let's be real. I think the best film is Hitchhike, but my favorite is Last House.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, Hitchhike, of course, you had Franco Nero, huge star, at the time. I mean, it definitely felt like I mean, I understand why it's Hess's favorite film. I mean, Hess in general didn't think a whole lot, really, of his movies. I mean, it was always, he was about his music. And I've talked about this on the show a lot of times. I won't bore everybody by rehashing it. But after he had passed away, Chiller did, in one of the I guess you would call them panel rooms. They did a nice tribute to him. His son was there. It was a very somber show. Radice was there. And I'm not a public speaker. I actually was one that actually said a few words just from a fan's perspective about him there, and Radice gave an awesome speech. They told everybody not to record it. I've never seen it pop up on YouTube. I wish you as a fan could have seen that. I think it's my favorite convention moment. I mean, they played a tribute thing to him, set to his music, and oh man, it was just. I mean, I'm sitting there. I don't cry over a select, because again, I'm not buddies with the guy or anything, but I met him a handful of times, talked to him, really cool guy. That one almost had me tearing up. I mean, that was just an almost religious experience for me. Really cool guy. His son acted a little bit. I haven't seen him in anything new, but his son, Jesse, I believe, really cool guy as well, was, selling his stuff. I think I still have they put out a pin. I think it was Mad Hess Love and all sorts of cool stuff. It was a somber convention, but that is one of my best memories. But anyways, nothing more out.
And I'd say that's a testament. I mean, if to people's respect for him, they asked people not to record it, and it hasn't got out. You know what I mean? You can ask people to not. I mean, that's what I'm saying. And everything else, it gets leaked. So that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
It hasn't.
Yeah, it was, like I said, it was right after he died, because I think he was actually booked for that convention, and then they had Jesse there, and it was very. I was like, oh man, this is like. Just almost surreal, because like I said, I'm not friends with the guy. I just met him a handful of times and, talked to him about his movies. But really nice guy. I mean, you would almost, I remember some friends saying, like, God, I mean, I'm almost intimidated to meet him. He was just such a nasty villain. And I'm like, you meet the guy, he's funny, warm. I mean, just a really genuinely nice guy.
Yeah, I know.
The
first time I met him, I was like, I might get raped, because it was literally him and what's his name? The one who ended up directing porn.
Fred Lincoln.
Yes, thank you. That because they were just there together.
I guess we just weren't we weren't rapeable, Todd. I guess we should take that as an insult.
Well, he did sign my picture to piss my pants.
There you go. I just got the plain signature. Although I know a lot of people would come up to him. It's like, you're not going to make me piss my pants, are you? And,
well, no. See, here's the thing. He didn't have a table or anything. He was just there at the convention with them, and I was like, I got to talk to him. It's fucking David Hess. And I, just went and talked.
How was it? What did you talk about?
Well, I knew to talk about his music first. so
there you go. Yeah, that's. Oh, he was nice. I mean, he was never somebody that. Not that Carpenter's mean, but he could be a little grumpy. Hess humored people, from what I saw.
Yeah, just don't talk to Carpenter about Halloween questions.
Yeah. I think I might do the opposite with Carpenter next time. I'm just going to come up and just full on. I'll go full on geek Halloween mode and just ask him all these technical details about the movie. I'm usually pretty good. I think I know one of the last. It wasn't the last time, but one of the last times I saw him, I think I did. I tried to talk a little more about Smash Cut, and at least I do that with most celebrities. To ask them about something that they were not asked about maybe 1,000 times. So, but no, he was always really cool. I remember seeing him the last time with my friend Crystal, and just a really nice guy. I mean, you could tell he enjoyed hanging around people, and I mean, I think he was 75 or 76 when he died. I mean, the guy looked like he was in his 50s. I mean, he was still. That's why I was such a shock when he died, because I'm like, shit, I mean, it wasn't even a year, I guess, the last time I saw him, and or something like that. I mean, maybe a little longer than that, but he was just a really awesome guy. I actually had the chance to Louis Paul, who used to be on back in the horror theater and Creepshow radio days when we had 5 different shows, had interviewed him at one point, and could have been maybe the last interview with him, because he died not too long after that, and I could have sat in on that one, and I didn't. Chris asked me too if I wanted to jump on, and I didn't either. I regret that now too. Yeah, I just don't like interviews, and particularly somebody that I really respect like that. I just was like, oh no, what if it's a shitty interview? But I regret not doing it now. But you can add that. I mean, that still exists. You can go back and listen to that interview. I'll have to dig it up and maybe post it on the page sometime. But I mean, back to House on the Edge of the Park, because we knew we were going to go off on this one. Yeah. But if you've never seen it, like I said, I mean, it's obviously an exploitation film and all that, but I think it's like I said, it's just one of those ones I think is a lot better than maybe people give it credit for, and that all has to do with Hess and the entire cast, but particularly those two. I think they've always had a special quality about them that. I mean, sometimes without even saying a word, just their facial expressions. Yeah. I think they're both really fantastic actors, and of course, it's nice seeing Radice kind of working again. I know he's had a handful of films come out in recent years, and I know last week we talked about House Party. I got to say, House on the Edge of the Park's my kind of house party. There you go. Maybe we have Kid and Play. They can be they can play the Hess and Ricky roles. There you go. It could work. They can House Party on the Edge of the Park. Exactly. Todd, man, fuck, we're giving away such good ideas. Somebody needs to pay us for this shit. Just like the Rob Zombie Paranormal Activity or all these awesome ideas we're throwing out there. But I can actually picture the beginning, Kid and Play just driving in the taxi to Bitches Ain't Shit But Hoes and Tricks rather than sweetly. you go. Oh shit! I've got the entire movie in my head now. I can't even focus. But yes, that would work.
I just got to figure out how we're shoehorning Martin into that, because he was in the first one.
Yeah. We have to get a Fat Boys cameo. Maybe the Barbarian twins can pop up somewhere. I don't know. They can be the ones trying to screw them in a poker game. Make it a real 80s, 90s homage. But yeah, I mean, and this film, by the way, looks fantastic. This is definitely one of the better Code Red releases that I've seen. I don't think there's really been any complaints about this one. I mean, especially being one of their better known releases.
Yeah, and I know I know there were some complaints about I want to say the Italian disc, and this one definitely is viewed as the better of the two, and a definite improvement over the Italian one. I know the Italian one lacks the English track, and this one lacks the Italian, but let's be real. We're going to listen to it in English because David S.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and of course you have the ported over interviews.
Yeah, I was very happy because sometimes those street show ones kind of just disappear.
Mm. Yeah. It's of course, sadly you can't get a new Hess interview. I mean, we could have seen a new one with Radice, but overall, I mean, I'm happy with what we got. The film looks fantastic, and of course, this is Code Red, so I mean, this one may not be available forever. I mean, I can't imagine he's not going to repress it, but you can get it through the big cartel store, and I wouldn't wait forever.
Was there a number on this one?
Well, that's interesting. I can't remember if there was or not. I thought there was.
Yeah, I thought it was a 2001, because I know some don't have them because he could repress more. Some say 1,000, and some say 2.
Really though, whether it's obviously 1,000, I would expect it almost gone already. But that's why. I mean, again, who knows? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this has to be a title he knows it's a good repressing one. I wish he'd be smart if he represses Necromancy at this point.
I think so. People are not to rub it in, but I know you're starving to get that one. He'll repress it right after you spend the $75.
Right.
He'll repress it with new extras, long lost interviews or something. But yeah, that's why I'm not waiting on some of them anymore, because you just don't know. Necromancy was the fastest sellout I think ever for something Code Red, unless I guess you're counting the Daniel Roebuck situation. But yeah, I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I guess that one just sold really, really well. But who knows? Like I said again, I would not be shocked if something popped up again on that. I mean, I know he says no, but maybe Diabolic, maybe somebody else. Who knows? But House on the Edge of the Park.
I give it a 10.
I mean, it's not. There you go. I'm not overthinking it. I mean, the movie for me, it's not perfect, but it's perfect to me. So, I mean, I'm giving it a 5. I love the film. I probably shouldn't, but hey, it's an older film. I love it. And I think, like I said, I mean, I just love the film.
Only warning is if you're not a fan of the rape, revenge, home invasion type genres, you might going in knowing this is a 5 in that genre. I mean, I'm not going to compare it to I don't know. What does everyone love? The Exorcist. Not a fan, but whatever. Actually, that's not even true. I can't say that. It finally grew on me last time I watched it. It finally clicked.
You're a jaded atheist. It doesn't scare you.
Exactly.
Linda Blair spitting out pea soup doesn't scare you.
No, it doesn't. I prefer the Triple Exorcist with Joanna Angel.
You just don't like girls that spit. There you go. Joanna Angel's not a spitter. Joanna Angel's most definitely not a spitter. So there you go. I prefer Triple Exorcist too, Todd. Don't worry.
I figured you would.
You got to fuck the devil out of them, like they said in that Tommy Pistol.
That I love those little parodies. I kind of wish they stayed in the smaller format than cause now they're doing the full on ones, and I think they try to do too much. Like Repenetrator, short perfects.
Yeah,
and
short, sweet. Basically just an extended sex scene, but you know what? I haven't watched it yet, but I actually got a Revenge of the Nerds porn parody the other day. I don't think it's brand new or anything, but I am curious to sit down and watch that one. Well, I guess we know what I'm going to be doing at the end of the show.
I need to know if that's any good.
Yeah, I will tell you, eBay, I'm telling you guys, if you want adult movies, eBay, they do sell them. You just have to, get into the adults only search. And I think I paid like $5 for the Revenge of the Nerds porn parody. So, yeah, just a tip out there. People think eBay doesn't sell porn. They do. You just have to confirm your age and, all that shit. But yeah, I mean, as far as extras, I mean, I'm more than good with this disc. Obviously, it's ported over. I'm not giving it high marks for extras, but it's it's a 3. It's still serviceable. I mean, they ported over.
I agree. I mean, I'm not going to fault them for not doing anything new. Kind of difficult.
Yeah.
And I think if they would have added, like you mentioned, a new interview, I would have I don't know. I don't think there could have been anything new really added, so I'm perfectly fine. Excuse me.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I'm glad people honored not filming it, but, oh, God, I just wish fans could have seen that, just the great celebration of Hess's life.
I get that. I would have loved to have seen it myself. That would have been a perfect extra. I'm with you. I give it a 3 for that. 3 on extras, 5 on the movie, of course.
There we go. You kind of called it, but yes. Well, thank you guys for joining us on Tuesday. Obviously, there's a baby on the way, so we couldn't do our normal day. But since we're ending a little bit earlier here, I have to ask you, Todd. WWE, are we going to finally see the rise and fall of TNA Blu-ray?
I don't know. I mean, it's either Billy Corgan or Vince's line.
Well, they said the update I heard on it was the WWE offer is sort of if nobody steps up and saves it kind of deal.
Right.
Because they said it's Corgan, an unnamed party, and Vince. So I don't know, though. Do you want to let me ask you, how do you want it to go? Do you want to see it die right now, or do you want to see them go on?
It's hard. I mean, it needs a complete brand revamp because no one takes TNA as a brand serious. Impact Wrestling, whatever.
Yeah, but you're getting a lot of delete chants. You've been hearing. That's the first time I've heard any TNA chants on WWE TV in a long time.
Yeah. But is that because they're watching it, or they're seeing the memes and kind of putting it all together and watching the little promos? See, that's the thing.
True.
I mean,
And that will die off.
Yeah.
It'll run its course. I'm not a huge fan of it anyways, but, props to Matt Hardy for getting over like that again.
Yeah, he's in this over since version 2.
Yeah. So I was going to say, since Edge started bawling Lita behind his back.
I was going with Mattitude, but that too.
Yeah. Well, briefly until they kind of botched that whole thing, but yes. Fat Hardy can still get over.
I just want to know when the fuck Shannon Moore's going to show up in all this.
Yeah, I was going to say he should have popped out of the water during Final Deletion.
Right?
Maybe Shannon Moore, Christina Von Eerie, and Jesse Neal could have just popped up.
Wow.
And, I don't know, jumped in front of a firework or something. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm torn. I know it's selfish because there's only so many places to go now. And if nothing else, I mean, TNA, I mean, hey, we've gotten, I think, Ethan Carter's work. I think he's been a really good heel. And they've got a little bit of momentum. I mean, Mike Bennett, Moose, at least they're signing some new guys. But I don't know. It might be just too little too late for them. They might have gotten to that point where they just didn't take advantage of things when they could have. But hey, right now, I mean, shit, look at what WWE is doing with all these former TNA talents. I mean, that tape library now, 14 plus years, there's a lot that they could do with that. A lot of great releases for sure.
Yeah. They could, shit. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see an angle. Well, see, I think Ted Turner should buy it and throw some money in and change the name. We need a new war.
Did you hear that $40 million figure? I mean, like, oh, yeah. Fuck no.
Yeah. Every wrestling reporter was like, no. That's not even close.
No, there's no fucking way. It's something that they only broke even. I don't think they've ever been profitable because I always heard there was that one period where they were either breaking even or slightly profitable. And I'm like, nobody's throwing $40 million at something that's never really been profitable. It's just not, that's not how it works. I mean, if ECW only had the backing that TNA has had, I mean, shit, what would wrestling look like right now?
Right. But I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if Vince offered $4 million. Yeah, we want your tape library. That's not it.
Yeah, I think it'll be more than WCW because obviously that was a steal. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it'll be much more. But there's like I said, look at it. Lots of Sting stuff. Obviously a lot of AJ Styles stuff. The champion right now, Samoa Joe, etc. I mean, there's a lot. Hardys. I mean, you go down the list now, and I mean, you've got now. I mean, fuck, even T.J. Perkins now holding gold. I mean, there's a lot that they can do. So I don't know. I guess we'll see, but I am very curious. Something tells me somebody's going to jump in and save them. They're the company that won't die.
Yeah. I have to say I thought it was funny that some of those memes with the T.J. Perkins and Triple H.
Yeah.
I know one was, we got an idea for a video game, even though that was low-key, but whatever. And the other one was basically him playing Sin Cara. I know that's fucking funny.
I will say I keep hoping, because there was those rumors that maybe SmackDown would have its own cruiserweight division, but I still think SmackDown would have been the place.
I'm going to tell you like this, and I shouldn't shit on a California guy. I've never seen anything in him. Even now, he's just still boring to me.
Which California guy are you talking about?
TJ.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about his opponent, Kendrick.
Oh, no.
I thought that might.
Kendrick's good, and I should talk shit on for where
Yeah.
he trains. I know, but no, Kendrick's good. But TJ's just fucking boring.
He definitely deserves it. My theory is he wasn't originally going to win that tournament.
No.
And again, I'm not saying, 18 years, the guy's been out there forever. But I think Coda didn't end up signing with them. I think he might have been the one that was going to win that tournament. That's my gut feeling.
And that's a lot of people's things. It's like, it kind of diminishes this whole thing if you're just going to make wins who sign the contract.
Yeah, that's what I think. I could be wrong. Maybe Perkins was always going to win it.
No, they said
he's not the greatest on the mic.
No, and which is why he was suicide, manic, new Sin Cara, whatever.
Yeah.
I would laugh if he was that spot. Unico wants to return or whatever.
At least he won't fuck up the trampoline dive.
No. Oh,
yeah,
Lord.
just go back to the Sin Cara weight shifting. I don't know, Sin Cara has AIDS now or something. I don't know. Something on PC, but yeah, no, I kept thinking, I'm like, God, there's a lot. Like, even like some that I like Tony Nese a lot. I thought he'd go further. I think Cedric Alexander or Rich Swann would have been a better choice. Jack Gallagher and Rich Swann in particular, I think those two are going to be over huge in WWE. Perkins isn't the best first choice because, like I said, I don't know if you saw him like on the Raw pre-show. With the pro, just him talking, you could hear the crickets. It's just, he's my props to him being a very good worker and a guy that's been at it a long time, but shit, he I don't know. I could see that title changing hands pretty fast. I don't think Kendrick's taken it off of him at No Mercy, or at Clash of the Champions, but I don't see it lasting forever. I think Coda was going to win it, and that just didn't happen. Or maybe even Sabre, because what's your impressions of Sabre? Because he was almost confirmed, and supposedly they weren't a fan of his style all of a sudden.
I really don't know. I haven't been following as much, but I thought he was good, but who knows? Who knows what goes through their minds?
Yeah, well, that was, I guess, our wrestling side talk. Anything to promote aside from your baby? He is on the way. Future UEW champ.
Yes. UEW, Another Violent Reaction, October 1st. And although I will not be joining, I am. And I think this might be an off week. I think Hellraiser Radio returns the following Thursday.
Oh.
But I'll still play the commercial as we exit.
You don't want to be there live
else?
for like BC Killer to deliver the baby.
Yeah. I don't know about all that.
An interesting story, but yeah, we will see you guys probably next week.
Yes, we should be on our normal day, the 29th.
Absolutely.
All righty. All right, guys. Well,
night, guys.
We'll see you next week.
Are you a fiend of the underground and can't get enough? Then tune in every Thursday night at 8 p.m. on Spreaker with MP3, Chaz, and The Dune for Hellraiser Radio. All things UEW, interviews with some of your favorite UEW warriors, plus much, much more. It's every Thursday night at 8 p.m. on Spreaker. Listen to Hellraiser Radio. The threat is real.